understanding of human differences. And because their church is a global one, including members from different cultures on language basis, as well as different races, gender identities, and ethnicities, they can share with us the benefit of their experiences in working with and celebrating these differences. And our first panelist is going to be Reverend Eblis Pendragon, who is the head of the Pendragon of Mexico City, Mexico. And he is a member of the Council of Elders of the Karelian Nativist Church, and he is also the senior priest of the church's Spanish language wing, facilitating communication and networking among their temples in Latin America and Spain, as well as overseeing their Spanish language translation and media efforts. And he is also the host of Voces Paganas and Encuentro, which are Spanish language broadcasts throughout the Pagans Tonight radio network. And Reverend Eblis, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I think the sound is good, right?
It is wonderful.
Okay, excellent. Well, buenos días. Gracias. Gracias por tenerme acá. Ladies and gentlemen, my ladies, my lords, diversity in contemporary paganism. I would like to start this conversation, as all days and all conversations should start always, with a prayer. A prayer for peace, as taught to us by our most loved, the Right Reverend and Archpriestess, Lady Crystal Newman High Coral. One prayer that is extremely suitable for this parliament of the world's religions. And in this moment, one prayer that we have been reciting with all our heart since August 2014, once developed by our first priestess Crystal, who is the matriarchal head, joint head of the tradition, and who in her capacity is responsible for maintaining the sanctity of the Karelian tradition and its connection with the ancestors and the divine. So let's pray. This is a praying for world peace. I ask that you join me now in my prayer for peace. I pray for love. I pray for peace. I pray for stability. I pray that love may overcome fear. And I send energy of love and a positive peace to all the people in the world. I pray for a true and positive peace that allows for individual freedom to all people and to all nations. A peace, tolerance, and respect between nations, between religions, that brings hope and healing to all. I pray that all leaders at every level and every nation in all parliaments have the wisdom to make decisions that benefits all beings in the sacred circle of life. I ask this, I accept this, I receive this, and I give thanks. So mote it be.
So mote it be.
And thank you for your energy. Thank you. 5 months ago, on May 5th, 2015, year 15 of the age of Aquarius, by our Wiccan understanding of time, Lady Ida Alceret and I invited 24 pagan leaders from the Hispanic-speaking world, pagans from places that speak Spanish and are as rich and diverse as Spain, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Venezuela, Argentina, Uruguay, and Mexico, to co-produce and co-host all together in the most democratic possible way an internet radio show. I want to pronounce their names as a modest tribute because I know they will read me or listen to me. And also out of my heartfelt gratitude to all of them for sharing their selves in one way or another, maybe their ideas, their efforts, their voices, their skills, or simply their names and their faces and their support. Aira Alceret, Blabel, Baelia Jalfi, Gaia Soler, Enkidu, Kernu Bruma Roja, Roble Tormenta, David Wolfhard, Silvia Sandalwood, Gabriel Landaeta Rojas Viallén Segment, Marta Shanor Rifenyid Bey, our art band Drew, Hanna de Madrid, Anami Nuria, Tine Estrella de la Tarde, Karina Simoncelli, Nimeria Winter, Merepides de Hades, Runa Fuego, Braulio César Cordero, Fernando González, Gio Erin Díaz, Osiris Bathory, Rosaura Nubelazo, y Nacho Prieto. These wonderful, diverse, and talented people represent one way or another, and always talking from their experience, which is very important. The Greek craft tradition, the Dun Eileen's Druid Brotherhood, the Hedgecraft tradition, the Covenant of Hecate, the Neo-Pagan Union of Venezuela, traditional Irish familial witchcraft, Avalon tradition, Iberia tradition, and their schools of mystery, Kemetism, Reclaiming the Goddess Association, Goddess Conference Madrid, Goddess Festival Madrid, Gardnerian Wicca, Reclaiming Wicca, Goddess Movement, Asatru Religion, Celtic Iberian Wiccan tradition, Cultus Deorum of Roman religion, Hor Sa Aset, Golden Dawn, Thelaman, and Corellian nativist tradition of Wicca. So, these are very, very hard-working people, dedicated ministers, passionate leaders, inspirational counselors for many people, priestesses, and priests, women and men of service, devotion, dedication. On May 29th, it was the first episode, the first encounter, which is precisely the name of the show, the radio program, Encuentro, Encounter. Because we reunite every 15 days, twice per month, to talk, to comment, to debate about common subjects, common topics of common interest for all of us and for our audience. So today, Friday, 16th of October, year 15 of Aquarius, they will be celebrating the 10th encounter at 2 p.m. through Pagans Tonight Radio Network. And up to this day, 671 people follow our page and events in Facebook, Twitter, and Blog Talk Radio, where they can listen to the show live or download it as a podcast, available also on iTunes, iVoox, and other platforms for free. For me, this is diversity, and this is intra-faith. This is engagement, dialogue, cooperation within contemporary paganism. I won't enter into detail because of time, but I wanted to highlight something very special about my experience within contemporary paganism and about its diversity. Above all, we are priestesses and priests of the goddess and of the god. But very much like everyone summoned to this parliament of the world's religions, we're also educators, counselors, feminists, revolutionaries, rebels, human beings, peace warriors, love warriors, and light warriors.
Woo!
Yes.
So every day I watch firsthand how my fellow brothers and sisters give the good fight in favor of such diverse causes as and listen to this because this is truly diverse. And it's just a tiny example of how long and deep our compassion and diverse interests can and do run. Animal rights, of course, in general, but being very specific about Spain and Mexico, for example, bulls and wolves, and other countries, not only Spain and Mexico, but fighting against bullfighting and running of bulls, against animal hunting as horrible sports, vegetarianism and veganism, women's rights, empowerment of women, native indigenous people rights, climate change, sustainable environment, LGBTIQ's rights, refugees crisis, wars in Middle East and in Eastern Europe, workers' rights, children's rights. We are against dictatorships of any kind, drugs, corrupt states, disappearances by the hand of the government, human rights in general. We focus very much on them. We want human rights for everyone, especially maybe because we are a minority. We focus on minorities too. But education towards peace is really important. These are all worthy and praiseworthy goals and pursuits. And most of these are pretty much the United Nations Millennium Development Goals. So I invite you to revisit them and reflect upon them. And these fights, these concerns, reflect the diversity and complexity of our vibrant, visionary, modern, contemporary, pagan people of the world. So let's call it the pagan nation of the world. Now, on peace, as people, we as people that believe in magic, all of us, and people that believe in the power of prayer and in faith, and recognize the importance of a world composed entirely of energy, we can make the difference. And indeed, as magical people, we know that we get the world we create. And so it is important for us to create the world we want. And yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Peace is more than just the absence of fighting. Peace means a decent life for people, freedom to believe according to their conscience, and to live without fear of being oppressed or killed merely because of their race, religion, gender identity, or ethnicity. Without these things, there is no peace. I have something really hard to tell you regarding this. From a very close and personal experience from one of our priestesses in El Salvador, Nubelazo, who does a beautiful social working labor as part of her ministry and who works very closely with high-risk youth. This just happened a few days ago. And apparently, one could think that because countries like Mexico or El Salvador aren't involved in any war, they are not involved in any armed conflict between nations, we could think, oh, they are in peace. But there couldn't be a statement further from the truth. Our countries are not in peace. Peace has not been achieved at all. Just yesterday night, as I was reviewing my presentation, Reverend Lasso informed me of one of her high-risk youths, a 24-year-old college student being brutally assassinated by stray gang members in the municipality of Soyapango, El Salvador, right up outside his home, dead from 22 bullets, as he, Francisco Salvador Martinez Cortez, to whom of course we will dedicate 1 minute of silence at the end of this presentation as a tribute. So there is no peace until these kind of things stop happening on a daily basis. And this is why our involvement in global gatherings, such like this Parliament of the World Religions, is important. Our pagan priestesses and pagan priests face these situations daily. So we need to keep talking. And we need to keep fighting, and we need to keep generating conversation and ideas until we achieve a full integration and peace. Before I ask you to join me in one minute of silence, allow me to tell you about the other hand of of a priestess ministry, death and life. That very same day, Reverend Lasso initiated a young man into pagan priesthood. They went into the woods, but I don't know if they went by themselves or in group with other pagans, because the native wise medicine men of El Salvador tend to participate and celebrate together in rituals with other pagans and spiritual people of those lands. Such is the terrible and wonderful responsibility of a Wiccan priestess. Such is the sacred circle of life of any pagan priestesses or priest. Let's not forget, we are facilitators of the installment of a new age. We are here to serve the people, our fellow human beings, our mother nature, our living creatures, goddess and God, our higher selves, service, light, and love. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. Our next presenter, the Reverend Jeanine DeOya, Karelian priestess and founder of the African American Wiccan Society, author of Portal into the Light of Truth, the first book about Wicca specifically from an African American perspective.
Can anybody hear me?
No.
Keep the mic. Can you hear me now? Yes. First, I would like to apologize for coming in just a little bit late, but I'm going to have to accept the gift that the guys gave me. I'm a time walker. I walk between the time. I walk between the past and the present, and but I just accept that gift that the goddess has given me. But I'm just like the goddess. I may not be here when you want me, but I'm always on time. Let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Jeanine DeOya. I have practiced mysticism and Wicca for approximately 23 years. The goddess called me at a very, very young age. I didn't know who she was. I don't know why she was, and all I know is that at 12, maybe 11, I had visions of the goddess in a world of people worshiping she. And I loved being in that world, and for a while I thought maybe I would just stay in that world and not even deal with reality. I looked forward to those visions, a world where people cared about the environment, a world where women were respected, a world where ancestors were venerated. It was just a beautiful world, but I didn't know what it was. It wasn't until one day I was listening to NPR, and last minute I just turned, because I always listen to NPR, always. I love NPR. But one moment I happened to turn it on and say, "What's going on?" Just before I got out of the car, and it was a witch. She was on, and she was talking about the love of the moon. She was talking about the love of nature. She was talking about the love of magic that is just natural within the world. And all of a sudden, my heartstrings just tugged. And this is what I've always wanted. And I looked into other spiritualities, but it just didn't touch me the way that moment this woman touched me. And after she finished talking, of course, people called in and started quoting different scriptures to her. But I wanted to hear what she had to say. And from that moment on, I realized that I needed to find out more about Wicca. Now, let me just say I was raised in a different religion. And there was nothing wrong with that religion, it just didn't touch my heart. So I know you guys recognize that I am African American. And maybe not too many African Americans are Wiccan. But I found that Wicca is an intuitive spirituality. And I say intuitive because the things that I was taught, and let me just say, I'm here because the Honorable Reverend Lewis asked me to be here to talk about myself and my spirituality to everyone. So what I was saying was that it was just intuitive because the stuff that Reverend Lewis taught me was the same thing that I was practicing long before he taught me about it. So that's why I'm saying it was intuitive. It was taught to me by the goddess, by my visions. What I was gonna say, let me just tell you about myself, a little bit about myself. I was raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I have a degree in social work. I'm now a full-time student getting my master's in social work. I started an organization called African American Wiccan Society. It's just a website, but in that website, a lot of us joined together who are African American and feel like, you know, there's other spiritualities out there that we need to touch base with. And there's all types of mystics there in my group. Most of them are African Americans. We are on Facebook. Right now we're trying to start a membership where nationally people of color, not just African Americans, can join together and support each other in our cause. The thing I like the most about Wicca, and let me just say, I tried other African traditional spiritualities, but in my day, in order for you to be a part of the African American spiritualities, the diaspora, as they call it, you have to know somebody, have a family member, and I had a hard time finding someone who was willing to teach me. And I found that Wicca was able to embrace me. And when I say Wicca was able to embrace me, was because I went to different circles, Wiccan circles, and they were like, come in, I will teach you all I know. And what I don't know, I will direct you to someone else. What I like about Wicca is the love of nature, which is something I did as a child. I loved the earth. I was the conservationist. I joined different organizations. I was only 12, 13 years old, but the goddess directed me. The Lord and Lady directed me to being what people call a tree hugger, you know. But I don't care because I think that we are all mother's creatures. We are all daughters and sons of the goddess, the Lord and Lady. So conserving this planet for ourselves and other beings is very important to me. Many spiritualities don't. They recognize the importance, but they don't make it their practice. Some of them, many do. So that's one of the reasons I come with it. I also have always been someone that's social justice. I've always been into social justice. And Wicca deals with social justice. We care, not just about the environment, but other human beings. We're humanists. And that's what I care about. And so maybe that's why I was directed to social work, because the goddess taught me, my ancestors taught me that it's important to recognize these things. when I had visions of spirituality and being a mystic, long before I knew about God, I had what you would call right now guides, spirit guides. Many of you would call spirit guides. Some call angels. But I didn't recognize that then. I recognized them as showers. They showed me what spirit is like, what spirituality is like. They showed me about heart, because spirit is part of heart. They showed me how to connect with my higher power being source. They also showed me the importance of ancestor veneration. They showed me that grandmother is important because she knows. She's been where I've been. She's been where I've been. She's been where my daughter's been. And so she knows. She has the power of knowing. They also showed me the power of the mother. Because the mother is part of source. Because source is creation. And the mother is creation. And just as important, they showed me the power of the maiden. Because the maiden is very important because she's the one who learns. She learns so that one day the crone could be highly knowledgeable. And the newness of the maiden is a beautiful thing. We all, like my daughter now is pregnant for the second time. She's about to have a little boy. And everybody draws to her belly. And I noticed that we all draw to the newness of new life. And that's what Maiden's all about. She's all about drawing to new life, to learning, the thrill of new love, the thrill of loving oneself. And I just wish that all young people, adolescents, would understand the beauty instead of, the hormones that's raging right now and they're uncontrollable. If they learned from the maiden or the young male, who's also part of Trinity too. If they learn from them and know the beauty of love and learning and childlike inspiration, childlike wonder, they would all be in a better place. So the all-encompassing part of Wicca, to me, is where my heart is. I love it. Now, I love other spiritualities. I learned from other. I first started with Buddhists. Actually started Christianity, then I went to Buddhists, and I talked to Hindus. I talked to, and I just love their ideas. I'm vegetarian myself. Like in front of them. So, I just wanted to just express to you my feelings about Wicca and my joy of it. And I thank you all for sitting here and listening to me today.
Mm-hmm.